Hey everyone, we have a beautiful sunny day in the mountains today, as you can see, so we will be installing this beauty. Follow along with me and I will show you how we get it all wired up and installed and everything. All right, we just cleaned out the Jeep not that long ago, so we need to go and get the tools and put them back in here, and we will grab those as we're going along. So right now we just have the camera back here. Opening the box, we of course have the rear view mirror, and here's everything else we will need. Our directions. We're gonna leave this nice and safe in the box until we actually need it. All right, so in our box we have our rear view camera with the harness, our main harness, our GPS antenna, and then the brackets that will fit the rear view mirror. Reverse camera bag, we have our reverse camera, our harness that we're gonna run to the front, and just a couple of little screws. So now this is an important thing. If you've never done this before, if you look on here closely, you'll see there's a little notch, and you want to make sure you line these notches up with the notch on the inside, otherwise it will not work. So I'm going to run the wiring and show you where I run it. All right, so we've got a really cool feature about this reverse camera. We'll end up setting it right here probably and adding some little holes into the license plate holder. But this really cool thing is that all the wiring isn't connected. So when you go through here, we'll end up running it around here, and then we have a little hole section right there where we'll run the wire through all of here. But the cool part is you don't have to run all of this wire through there because it is separated, so you just get it connected. If you own a Jeep, you should theoretically have this nice little toolkit that helps you take your hardtop off. This is a T30. You just will put these in here, undo these, and this will come off. We already pulled the back panel off, and there's a little teeny screw right there. You can see you might be able to finger loosen it. It doesn't need to come off all the way, and that's how we'll get this panel off. All right, so what we've done is we pulled off this little wire cover that we have on here, and we ran the wire right through here through a little rubber grommet. The wire is nice and tight, as you can see. We still need to zip tie it down more, run it into that wiring, get more correct connectors because we didn't do that, but that's how they are back there. We have the black one, that's the ground. We don't need that for this install. And then the white one, if you can see with a little gray line on it, that is what you will connect your power to. Okay, so a slight update. We ended up running the wire a little bit differently. We do have it bolted down now, as you can see, and these tighten over here, so it's not all wiggly and everything, and it'll just stay there. We ended up running it through here, going around and going through this little grommet back here. And then of course I already showed you how we took off this panel, and then we have it right here so it can disconnect. We need to make sure we have enough wiring because it is a 4-door Jeep, so we're going to go this route instead. So we're going to splice this little part in. The camera is installed, the mirror is installed and everything. We installed the camera upside down, so make sure you do not do this. We flipped it and everything and fixed it, but it's really not too big of a deal. You just gotta flip it around if you do install it upside down, but make sure that it is properly installed. Okay, so next we are going to run our wires to the fuse box, and my wire was a little shorter than I would like, so I just extended this, and we're gonna properly connect that. For now, we just use some electrical tape on that until we get to the hardware store, and then I will show you how to find the fuses with the conductor that you need. Okay, so I've got my wire poking through around there, and then we've got it right up there, and I just wrapped the wire around it, and we're going to gently pull it through, and then make sure you put it through the grommet, and make sure you put the grommet back in its place after you're done. So we ran the wire through here, and we pulled it through this little column. We pulled off that little side panel, and we will finish running the wire in a few minutes, and I'll show you how we do that after we wire this up to the fuse box. All right, so we've got our multimeter, and now we're gonna test the fuses. We have the black wire just kind of sitting on the battery terminal right now, and we're gonna use our red and test the fuses, with the Jeep at least. And JKU, there's a little hole on top, so you'll kind of just set it kind of in there, and that one has constant power that we found right away. This one does not have any power while the vehicle is off, and we can do it on a few more. That one has no power. That one has constant. It's pretty simple. So this one that has constant power, we are going to plug our yellow wire into and pull out the fuse that's in there. And then we will turn the vehicle on and double check that that other fuse had power once the vehicle was on, and plug our wire into there. So now that the Jeep is on, we have our black on ground still, and we're gonna test the wire right below the yellow one we plugged in, and we have power. So we're going to plug our red wire into there, and then we're going to ground our wire that it came with, which is right there, and get to finishing the wiring on the inside. Friendly reminder, zip ties are cheap, replacing wiring is not. So we are going to zip tie that along the entire engine bay and follow it to where we routed it through the firewall. Just make sure it's nice and tight and secured up there. You'd rather use more zip ties than you have to versus ruining a wire because it got caught on something somehow. So to hook the mirror up, it's pretty simple. We just have to plug in a few wires after everything else has been ran. And we have a clip just like we did in the back to hook up the camera. And you just make sure you line the prongs up correctly. We have this wire here, and there's also a little notch in that, and make sure you line those up correctly. And then the GPS signal, which can be just clicked in anywhere, and it will go together nice and smooth. To take the mirror off, we have one of these auto dimming ones. So I unplugged the wire, as you can see, that's sitting right up there. And that's just in this little port back here that you pop open. Pretty simple. And then we took out the screw, and that was a T20. And then it is as simple as just sliding up. Just a little difficult to do one-handed, but we'll show you guys like that. So using the provided mounting bracket, we don't need the other adapters because this one fits in right on top where the Jeep one was. We screwed in the screws that were provided and attached this, and we just pulled off the heading liner up here. We did have the auto dimming mirror before that was installed, so working on pulling out that wire, and then we're gonna get this wire ran all through up here and connected. Well, we are all done. We have got it installed. So we got our mirror up here, and then we ran all of our wiring, put everything back together, put our GPS right there. We just had to finish tucking that one last wire, and that will be it. So stay tuned, and I will give you all a review on how it works and everything, and show you all the cool tricks it does. For the end of this video, I just want to give you all a little walkthrough on how everything was installed. So we have our backup camera, and we mounted it in on our license plate holder. We drilled a couple of holes, and then we ran our wiring through our spare tire. And it went through this little rubber grommet. We pulled off this and zip tied our wires together, connected them, and then up there, you'll pull this panel off and you will connect your reverse camera. We ran our wiring all along underneath the carpet, and then we let the wire come through up here and just kind of let it hang out for a minute while we finished installing the rest of the wiring. Then we tested our fuses and ran them to our fuse box and put our ground wire in a good place. We ran the wire through the engine bay and then through the firewall. We came out over here, and we did extend the wire because it was just too short for me to really be happy working with. Then we pulled off our old rear view mirror and used the universal adapter, and it just slid right in place. And we pulled our trim off, got all of our wire and ran, and that was it. So all in all, I'm super happy with how the project turned out. The rear view mirror looks great, and Stinger is amazing at just making these seamless upgrades, and they look like they will just come straight from the factory, which is super awesome. The only thing I wish would have been a little easier is having more wire, but that's a pretty easy problem to fix yourself. Extending the wire isn't hard. If you have a two-door Jeep, you will have no issues with having enough wire because we were just a teeny tiny bit short. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even had to extend it. But yeah, stay tuned, and we will give you a whole tour on how the mirror works and everything.